Ew. This is FirePitChilling. My name is Gucci, and I am the smelly one of the group.
He finally did it.
All right, we can pack up. We can go home. It's over. Here we got Joey, the business guy of the group.
I'm the business guy. Y'all hating
Is that
right
good
now.
enough?
I like that. I like it.
Here we got Jeff, the cooked one of the group. Right now.
Hey, sunburn.
Overcooked.
Overcooked.
Oh
Overcooked
man,
sunburn.
I missed it. And here we got Ernie, the is that Vader of the group?
Nope.
Is that no?
Nope, I'm not here.
Fair enough. So today we got the topic of reincarnation, more or less, right?
More or less.
More or less.
Afterlife.
Afterlife. I like that. Afterlife.
Afterlife.
So we're gonna go ahead and just get a quick gauge of like thoughts on the afterlife, more or less. What you think happens? For me, I will start off and just say I don't really think that anything happens. I think it's more just
Ends.
it's just your life is over, and that happens. It's kind of like the contract that you sign essentially when you're born, but it just makes it sweeter on people to hear or digest the news. That I guess continue their lives. They don't want it to dwell and be like, well, I don't want that to happen to me, and not live their life as a result. So we'll go with Jeff.
I would say I think that nothing happens. So your consciousness ends, and then you, whoever you are, cease to exist. That's it.
All right.
Damn.
And then we'll go
That's
with
some rough
Joey.
stuff. Personally, if I had to choose what I think would happen, I want to say reincarnation. I think that's a cool concept. Is it actually going to happen? I don't know, but I think it's cool.
Fair.
I mean, I guess you would never really know until you die, right?
But do
But
you know
you
if you
went
get
down?
Yeah,
reincarnated?
that's true. I don't know. I guess
Deja
you
vu?
wouldn't.
Right? Would you? Or is that what deja vu is, right?
Or there's a lot of trippy scenarios I've read that people have these experiences that we'll just get into a little bit.
Yeah.
Don't they also say birthmarks are or something is where you got stabbed or something in the past too? Isn't there
I've
something?
never
behind
heard that before.
I've heard something similar. to
It's something.
That.
It's something like that. It wasn't maybe exactly
There's
like
just some
that.
stupid thing that was on Tumblr a bit years ago, but there's
some
Sounds
theories
like a
on
very
it.
clickbait article that I clicked on.
Got him.
I
Got
didn't.
Okay.
Ernie, what are your thoughts?
I'm on Jeff's side on this. I just think I want to say black, it just cuts to black because that's what we know, through television. But I just don't think anything happens. You just gone forever,
You cease to exist.
unless
Right?
you're Batman,
Oh,
Why, unless you're Batman?
because his memory lives on.
is that
There's always a
reincarnation?
Batman.
Nice.
No, it's his legacy.
Oh,
But what's weird is that I believe in ghosts, and I believe ghosts are
Oh, yeah.
spirit of people that get left behind, or they're not entirely done, or maybe they're a different dimension. So I don't know how that plays with.
That sounds your definition of ghost. It sounds like
There's an afterlife.
an afterlife. Yeah, an explanation of a certain point. So pretty much, and you can tell me if I'm wrong, but according to you, if your purpose isn't finished, you're a ghost, and then once your purpose is finished,
You're
you
just
cease to exist.
gone. Yeah.
Okay. So it's like a little divot almost.
Yeah.
Like a limbo.
Limbo. It's a good game.
that'd be interesting. If you knew you're a ghost and that was just it for you, once you fulfilled the thing, would you just never fulfill the thing?
No, because I'm pretty sure it's not fun to be a ghost.
I feel
I
like
think.
I
I
mean,
mean, not being one. I don't know.
and I feel like maybe I've just seen or read seen too many movies or something. But I feel like when you're the ghost, you don't want to prolong your time. It's always.
I feel like that's the same concept of being immortal. It's cool at first, but then you kind of get over it.
You always just get sick of it. And again, I'm thinking of Harry Potter right now, but
Oh, okay.
you get to that point where you're just let me go. I want to be done with this life. So yeah, to answer your question, could people prolong it? Maybe, but I feel like again, it's just Hollywood. But I feel like I'd get tired of it.
Oh, I see.
Because for mine, it's ghosts. They haven't finished their purpose, right? So while they're a ghost, I feel like they're just doing like they have that drive to finish their purpose, to like get to the end goal. So I don't think they would just not do anything to prolong it.
I see. Yeah, because also, like, that'd be kind of weird. What if you couldn't do anything about it? Like, say your mission was to, like, help somebody get into, like, I don't know, get into, like, school. And then, like, that person just gave up on school because you didn't do your job of, like, guiding them the right way. Like, what happens then?
Then aren't you just destined to be tortured for life, basically?
Is
to
that
live
just
that life?
I mean, you could probably help someone else, or
Oh, okay. So it's kind of just the deed is to.
yeah, maybe
Maybe.
Oh, okay. So then there's not an expiration on these things. Okay.
help that person's kid.
Oh, now this is like a movie.
You saying we should write
Easy
a movie?
there, buddy.
Okay. Well, to go into the second half of this, I guess we would say, what do you think reincarnation would be for you, Joey?
Like what I would reincarnate as?
Or better yet, do you think that your current point in like your current status, and where, let's say you were to die tomorrow, do you think everything you've done would lead to a certain reincarnation? Like, let's say you're
I feel
a
like-
terrible person. Are you going to reincarnate something, or is it just random?
I don't see. That's what I would. I think I'd imagine there's some kind of guidelines to it. It's like if you're a good person, you get to come back as like another person. But if you're kind of like
You're trash.
yeah,
You get to
if you're kind of like
reincarnate
if
as
you're
trash.
just like you're just mean your entire life, you just kind of like come back as like something lame, like as an ant. You have a 3-day life cycle, and then that's it.
Yeah.
Or something like that. You know. So I mean, I mean, knock on wood, I don't have like knock on wood that if I die tomorrow, I feel like I would just. I'd be like in between. I'd be average. Like
Okay.
something kind of cool.
Yeah, the average
but not
reincarnation.
really super cool, but not something totally lame either.
So, like the ultimate goal would be to be another human.
Human or something like or an animal that's pretty cool. Or
Like an eagle or something?
Yeah. Does he get like a different view of what life is? Not just from a human perspective. But like I wouldn't want to reincarnate as an ant
My
or
only
like a roly-poly.
problem with, well, now you're just underrating animals. But my only
Those
problem
are
with this
insects.
is that, like, if there were restrictions, because that makes sense, right? There should be some restrictions. But if that were the case, who came up with the restrictions? And second of all, don't you think, because there's still a lot of bad people currently, so, or unless whatever reincarnates to a person, they still have the free will to become like good or bad, is what you're saying?
Yeah. So like as humans, everyone has their own free will.
And
like,
then, I'm sorry.
no.
Okay, well, I was going to say, and then the only thing with that, I was thinking, is that the end goal would be something positive. So, I guess I can kind of see what you're saying now. So, there would be some form of balance, because
Yeah.
then everyone would try to be great, and then we'd only have these magnificent things, which would ruin
Yeah.
everything. So, there's some sort of balance
Exactly.
that counters everything.
Yeah. If you just reincarnate something cool, it would just. I mean, technically, it's like a perfect society, but
Yeah.
not everyone is perfect. So.
I guess, yeah. Okay. I
I don't
kind
know.
of see that.
And like to answer like who comes up with these guidelines, like I said before, like I believe in like a higher power. I don't really necessarily know what that higher power is,
So, they said
so I'm just assuming that it is just whatever that higher power is will.
it. Okay.
basically.
Okay. All right. I see it. I was just trying to.
Yeah. No, I get you.
So, something average, what would you give yourself? Like, if you're to reincarnate at this current time. I'm just curious.
I feel like. I mean, there's technically a lot of things to reincarnate as.
Yeah.
Well, for Jeff, like, there's no bad animal, I'm guessing.
They're all pretty awesome at what they
See.
do.
So,
But there's also ones that have like a 3-day lifespan.
There's
Stuff
some
like
that have
that.
shorter lifespans, and there's some that have, longer lifespans.
Yeah, so it's like
yeah, but
There's a shark that can live like 400 years or something. Isn't that crazy? Side note.
fun fact of the
Like,
podcast.
crazy. I forgot what it was called, though. I wish I knew what it's called now.
but, like, let's say rhinos are cool, right?
Very.
But
Also
they're being
endangered.
hunted
Yeah, they're also
and
endangered.
poached. So what happens if you turn into a rhino and then you get hunted?
Well, it's like same thing as like everyone loves dogs. Let's say you get reincarnated as a dog, but then you end up being like just being thrown into a shelter.
Or you get reincarnated as a stray dog in like India and you get killed by a leopard.
I mean, there's ups and downs to everything.
If that's the case, then your cycle just repeats itself, though, right?
That's basically what it is. Your cycle just keeps repeating.
So, okay, let's say you do turn into an animal and you die. Animals aren't necessarily good or bad, though. So how do your choices affect what you become after that?
Good point. I do not know, to be honest with you. Because technically animals follow basic animal instincts. There's they don't have free will like we do. So I don't know. Maybe at that point it's just random. Good question. I legit do not know. Then again, I'm not like an expert on reincarnation.
Well,
I just like the idea and concept behind it. But yeah, that is definitely something I never really thought of.
That's my whole problem with, like, as cool as it sounds to come back as something. It's just like, yeah, but like, where are the guidelines? Who sets them? And who's to say that this is good or bad? You know what I mean? What if you're reincarnated as a fly? Flies are annoying to everybody, but what if you as a fly reproduce and you get all your genes across and you have a really good life? So then you're a trash person that had a good life as a fly. And then you reincarnate again as a flower. And you just have no concept of anything. Just photosynthesis. So it's like...
Photosynthesis.
I don't know. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I totally get you.
It's weird.
Damn.
It's a little weird. What about you, Gooch?
I don't know. Now I'm starting to think there's no point to being a nice person anymore because I could reincarnate to a flower.
Yeah. Flowers are cool.
And I get picked. Cool.
And
then it's over for me.
They're given to a girl that you like. And then you live in her house with her forever.
You guys ever read that?
For a week.
You ever read that?
She forgets to water me.
There was this huge thing on Reddit, and it was actually on Logic's album. Did you hear that album, Joey?
His new one?
Yeah. But he has this whole piece on reincarnation. He got it from some other artist, but it's like, I forget the exact specs of the story, but pretty much every human being in the world, have you guys heard of this, is like the same consciousness. So when you reincarnate again as a different human. So pretty much it means we're all connected by the same thing. We're all just going through the same reincarnation process.
So I could reincarnate as Ernie?
You already did.
Oh.
Or
but you did it better.
That's the
Joey
thing. Have you ever heard that?
No, I haven't heard that. I remember that in his album, but I don't know.
I just remember reading that. It was kind of a trippy thing, because what if you just reincarnate as your species, pretty much? So all people collectively reincarnate as people, and then all animals and such, so on and so forth.
I see.
Which is kind of weird, because then it
kind of makes more sense, though.
It can, but then it just leads to people as the ultimate power, because once we eradicate a species, it's gone forever. So that means we get rid of all the reincarnation for that.
Yeah, we're dicks.
Terrible.
But, I mean, I guess, how would you explain extraterrestrial life?
Me personally? For that, well, I don't really...
And the concept of reincarnation?
Yeah.
Oof.
That's another thing why I don't believe in reincarnation. Unless, what if you reincarnate as something else on a different planet?
Yeah, what if there's different... Like, what if our consciousness...
We're all connected through the universe.
Yeah. I
So that'd be cool.
Theoretically, it's possible.
It'd be cool if you die, you like spawn as yourself again in another dimension, and you just keep creating parallel universes, and that's how they create themselves.
Through death.
Yeah.
So death brings life.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Quote it.
Not bad.
Put it on a t-shirt. In a different universe.
In a different universe.
Different universe.
That's a cool concept, too. Everyone who dies has to create a parallel universe for themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Where something else keeps happening.
And then obviously every choice you make creates another one. It's just infinite
spider web of different universes.
My only problem with all that, though, is just it comes back to like the whole purpose thing, because I just think there's none. So that's why I think when it's all said and done, it's done.
Yeah.
Because if that were the case, like, why do, like, there's a little bug on me right now, but that guy's not conscious of anything.
What if that was some random person that died Yes.
Dad had a terrible life, and he came back as his bug, and he picked a good person to walk on because I'm not going to step on him.
Yeah, he got lucky today. Well, you're not going to step on your own hand either. So
I'm not going to get rid of this bug. Pretty much, though, it's just, I don't know, I feel like the whole, again, there's no purpose for anything. So it's like, all these reincarnation stories, they sound really cool, but...
But with mine, where you're just different dimension, I mean, there's no really a purpose to that. You just respawn again.
Yeah, that's true. But, I don't know, I feel like this is it.
You get one shot?
One shot.
One shot.
Do not miss your chance to blow.
Don't miss it, but at the same time, if you miss it, it doesn't really matter either. Especially if there's infinite timelines. Because if you miss your shot in this one, you probably made it in the other couple thousand. Infinite amount you made it, actually.
Palms are sweaty.
Oh, you're still going with that?
We still going? For me, I think the thing that interests me about reincarnation is the idea of that history repeats itself. And I say, what if, like, back to what Jeff, you were saying, that, like, humans just interchange with humans in different, you know, like, they reincarnate into different humans, but maybe get different outlooks on life, and that's why we get more progressive as a society, even though there's examples that we've actually regressed in certain areas in recent events. But I think there's just a possibility that shows like a glimmer of reincarnation, that if history does repeat itself, that it's the same players.
So then, by
doing
your
it over
definition, it means we never grow, right? Because if it keeps repeating itself, it means we never learn from our mistakes, right?
That's true, actually.
True, but it's also like...
So where does that rank us as a species then?
Stupid.
We just can't figure it out. We just keep repeating ourselves.
Yeah, but I mean, other animals would be like the same thing, right? They're just doing the same thing to survive.
Yeah.
We're just doing the same thing to survive, quote unquote survive.
Mm-hmm.
So it'd just be all the same.
Yeah, but I don't know. I feel like our mistakes are more intensive. Like at the cost of millions of people or something like that, or at the cost of other. Whereas animals don't really have that lasting effect. You know what I mean? Because I feel like then by that definition of reincarnation, it just throws out the balance forever for the planet with us on it.
It's true.
So there's no balance.
But it doesn't necessarily mean that we're reincarnated into the same players. Like, there's certain advantages that people can be born into. And if somebody that was disadvantaged early on and, like, dies and reincarnates into someone that has, like, the silver spoon or whatever, like, it could just be they bring that, like, different outlook into that. And that's how maybe we could progress in the sense that, like, somebody in a, like, point of privilege or, like, in power could see things from, like, a different experience and not necessarily know where they got it from, but, like, have that sense of empathy, or even sympathy in some cases. But it's like we could see different things forming through that with maybe the possibility of reincarnation. Not saying that it's like 100% true, because I don't know, but
because we have no idea. All of this is speculation.
Yeah, and
that can never be proven, I should say, because it's just like I already said, the only way to prove it is to actually die.
Dibs.
Yeah. Dibs.
Go ahead.
Damn.
Damn, dude.
Well, if you call dibs, I'm not gonna argue
I
for
was
it.
joking, man.
I'm not trying to die. Not yet.
Next week's episode will be a tribute to Joe.
How about this? If let's say that there is reincarnation, let's say you do come back.
Sure.
Let's say it's all people. So that means Ernie had a life. Has had thousands of lifetimes. Do you think there's possibility of glimpsing that? Like, for instance, a dream you have. Let's say you have a dream that you're someone else. Like, do you think that's actually a memory? Or if you ever have, like, something like deja vu, do you think you've experienced a situation similarly in a different life? Like, do you think there's evidence is what I'm asking?
I'm going to go as far as to say no.
Okay, no evidence.
But
So all those little blips and things like that are just coincidental?
I would think so.
Okay.
I don't think there's evidence either. I don't think it's coincidental. I just don't think it has to do with anything.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they're just like deja vu. is like a familiar setting. So it could be something that you even thought about. Like, let's say we thought about going to watch Spider-Man.
Yeah.
And then when we're at Spider-Man, we're like, whoa, I had deja vu. But maybe because it was like so...
Yeah, it was just a memory that you implanted.
Exactly.
Inception.
So that's you, Joey.
I kind of want to think it's like some kind of evidence.
There'd be some sort of link in the lifetimes.
Some kind of link. Like if it's ghost is the evidence and that's linking you to some kind of reincarnation, or if it's the deja vu is like, hey, you've done this before, maybe choose something different this time or something like that.
It's just weird, like, because again, I don't really believe it, but I've read these things online where like the little girl has memories of like all these names and stuff like that of people that were like her grandparents or something. She's like, oh yeah, like I know my great grandparents' first name, and they're like, how would you know that? You're 3 years old. Or there was this thing I read online where this guy had a dream. Some American guy. He said he lived in like the Midwest, and he said he had a dream. He was a Chinese man had a job at like a fishing company, and he spoke the language in his dream, and he was fishing, and he like had a wife, and he woke up like panicked, like what was that? Was that a memory or something? Was that a link? Like who was that guy?
But that just seems just like a dream, though.
Yeah.
Like that.
Well, I'm just saying I've read those things.
But
right.
dreams
I
could be links.
Right, but for that, like he doesn't, unless he knows the actual language.
Yeah, you wouldn't.
He
be able
doesn't
to
know he was
verify
speaking
it.
the actual language.
Yeah.
It could just be some made up thing. The little girl one is different.
Those ones
That
are weird.
one's-
Even
that
those
one is
trip me
weird.
out.
Because that one you could probably prove if you look back at their like family history.
Every story I read about it, they look at like the records and they go like, "Man, she nailed it to the dot. Like, how did she know this? Or how did whoever know this?"
Maybe the great grandparent
Those ones are weird.
is a ghost.
Yeah, those ones are.
Okay.
Those are
Check
definitely
out.
weird.
Hadn't gotten it right since.
Tell so and so they owe me money still.
Get that
Give
that
it to
Szechuan sauce, Morty. I need that Szechuan sauce.
Yes, I could drink water at the same time. It was weird.
No.
What if someone in the future can reincarnate into someone in the past?
So then that would mean that this whole timeline, there is no concept of time. Everything
But
that
there
has
is, but it's
existed.
because they reincarnated as a certain person. So it's like, let's say,
Yeah, I don't get it. Well,
let's say like someone in the future like saw that like the computer was gonna be built, and like it was this huge thing, and they reincarnate as Bill Gates, and so he has the idea and the mindset to be like, we can do this, and like it can be the successful thing, and that's why it got created or something.
So then,
Would it be like a loop?
Kind of.
so yeah, then and that.
So as long as that person reincarnates as a specific person, something else gets created because of it.
So in that specific example, that would mean that time, there is no, how do I say this? Not like, time is just irrelevant.
It's linear.
Yeah, and it's so everything in the past, present, and future,
Are all determined.
it all exists already.
Yeah.
Right. So everything is just
Yeah.
free falling.
Yeah.
Interesting. So then,
I don't like that.
so then through that, is it possible to change it? Like the person that has the concept of the computer, is he living in this present, or is he living in another present where the computer is not as big? And when he comes back as Bill Gates,
he's living in the present where the computer's not yet like a thing, and like he's Bill Gates and he's growing up knowing he can create this thing. And
so
does
then
it.
every time you can potentially change.
He can potentially
timelines.
change it.
Timeline. Oh, okay, cool.
So it's like someone can come back and be like, oh, I know this is going to happen at this time, and then maybe they can change a certain event, and then that we'll never really know, you know,
Yeah.
because we weren't there in the future when it actually happened.
Jeez.
Wait, so they know they got reincarnated into...
They have some like they don't like it's not like they physically know.
But
that
that's
it's
where
like,
their inspiration
oh,
comes from.
But yeah, that's like
Okay.
that's what inspires them. Is like they all of a sudden like, you know, like they have like these great ideas all of a sudden. It's because it was like some kind of link that they're reincarnating. It's like, wait, this is gonna be something big.
I just have a feeling.
Yeah,
So-
it's like a gut feeling. It's like in their head, and it's just because they were in that timeline or in that time.
So George Lucas was a Jedi,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and then he lived inside Star Wars.
Yeah,
Like, the
and then
whole
he could have came,
galaxies
and then
and
he
universe.
reincarnated. Well, he wasn't George Lucas in the future.
Dang.
He was a
And
Jedi.
he was some person. I mean, he could have been Anakin or something, and he reincarnated
Wow.
as George Lucas, and he created the Star Wars series.
He'd probably be Obi-Wan though. not
I'm just
Anakin.
saying, man.
Nerd.
It was just an example, and then that's how he created Star Wars. Is because he had this vision of it, but it was because he lived it.
That's crazy.
So then,
Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
like Jurassic Park can actually happen. Then.
Yes.
Wow. Okay.
And the only reason like someone created that movie is because they lived through that and they got reincarnated into the past, and that was their vision for that certain thing.
I want to go to Jurassic Park. Like, for real. I would be down to go there. That's crazy, dude.
Wouldn't that be trippy?
That would be trippy. This whole thing actually makes me think that you do reincarnate. Just kidding, no, it doesn't. Still think there's nothing. But I like that. I like Joey's explanation. That's pretty cool.
Thank you, man. I just came up with it off the top of my head.
So there's a chance that all this stuff in a different universe.
There's a really boring movie. It's on FX right now.
There's a universe that White Chicks is the world.
God damn it. Alright.
Aw.
I think that's our cue.
Fine. All right. Well, now that everyone knows my dream world and thinks it's a joke, on that note, thank you, Jeff. Thank
Thanks.
you, Joey.
Oh,
thank
you're
you, Ernie.
welcome.
Thank you, Paula, for sitting through all this
Hey, follow.
and not laughing. That was good. I'm glad you enjoyed yourself. This has been FirePitChilling. We'll see you in the next one.
I love how that ended so abruptly. You guys were like deep in dialogue, and then he talked about. Okay, it's over. Let's
Alright.
I felt like you guys still had at least like 10 minutes. Technically, he ended it without.